in actually making good braids is prepping the hair. So for this particular hair, we'll be using loose extension, 2 packs, and we'll be dividing it into 3 because we don't want it to be too long. We're trying to aim for 20-22 inches so that by the time we coil it, it would get to 15-16 inches of hair, or even less than that. Okay, so according to her preference, what will be done, would ask her about it. So this is how we divide it into 3, and then we cut it off and start prepping normally. You have to take your time when doing this prep, because if you do it right, then it turns out right, but if not, it doesn't. So it's not one of those part that you say is quite easy. We're going to try to minimize hair loss by watching how we comb out this hair and how we actually um, bring out the hair and just prevent all these tight ends like this. So what I usually do is I usually use this method of stretching them out. I just divide it with my fingers, my hands, and I place one in front or on top of the other or below, just depending. So that's what I'll be doing throughout. Divide, place on top or below. So I usually follow a particular sequence. At first, I place below, then I place on top, below, and on top. This makes it create uneven um, length at first, so that when you comb it out, you can just continue to do this for as long as you can, just as long as you know that you have gotten that stretch ends that you are looking for. I prefer doing this method because it prevents more, or it prevents less tangling at the ends. So I use this comb to comb them out when I'm satisfied, and when I'm not, after combing, I continue doing this. So this is when we are done, and as you can see, the ends are stretched out, not as even as they were before. So I'm going to use this um hair cream because it has a lot of oil in it, and it will provide both shine and sleep to the hair. So I'm just going to take a generous amount of it and apply from the middle to the end, and then I will set it aside and work on the other one. I forgot to make a video of the amount of hair that was removed from the comb, so that I could have shown you that it was a very small amount, so we didn't lose much. So these are the two when we were done, and this is just one part of the hair. So remaining 1 pack of lush hair, we're going to keep that aside first and begin working with this. So this is just a little amount of the hair that was removed. The ones on the floor, I didn't pack them as well, they were little, so as you can see, it was small. I just used this drink to top up to start my journey, because I just prefer having a little something on my stomach to begin. Alright, so this is my usual go-to drink before I have any other food that I want to, just get. And yes, we have to keep our workspace clean. We are just packing that in, packing other things in before we begin our hair. So our hair is freshly washed and it's still a little wet, so I'm not going to be applying water, but I'm just going to see how to comb these hair edges and the back, just the sides of the hair, because it has a lot of knots in it. She has this natural 4C hair, and it's quite tangling, and one of the most difficult hair to handle, but you don't have to worry too much because that's why we are here. We're going to avoid making sure we don't comb this hair as often as possible, just so we don't cause discomfort to her. And yes, this is where the hard part starts, parting the hair. Yes, we have to make sure we get clean parts for this particular hair while ensuring her comfort throughout this um procedure. Okay, so we're just gonna start from the back of her ear to the other ear, the back of the other ear. So I prefer doing this just to push on the hair and makes it faster for me to handle. Yeah, so I will just start from the other side and gently work my way through to this side. So as you can see, this is what I'm doing. You can do this as multiple times as you want. Okay, you don't have to be perfect the first or second time. Just take your time and make sure that it comes out really well. Make sure you keep your hands straight just so you can get a more straighter part, and when you're done, you apply your hair cream to the part. That just keeps it more steady and more easy for you to see the parts and make sure that it's actually clear for you. Okay, then you just give it one extra pattern and then you're done. Okay, so we are starting from the back because yeah, that's where we usually start braiding. Yeah, so we just portion the hair from the back. I like portioning my hair because it makes me, or it helps me visualize how many braids we'll be having at the back, the size at first, and if everything would actually fit into that particular part we are working with. Okay, we don't want to have uneven braids and mess up everything. So we just have to do proper pattern of the hair. So like I said, take your time, make sure you're getting it right. After parting, you can walk back a little and visualize your work before you continue. Okay, so we're at this back, we're just gonna make like 3 rows of braids from this back, and then we would start braiding the hair after getting our part. So why I do emphasize on making this part is that one, it makes it look more, or it makes it look less bulky or less full, because you don't have to look at a constant full head of hair and think that it's going to be impossible to do. No, when you part the hair like this, just going to divide it into smaller sections for you to work with first, and then you can actually have that hope that you finish this hair. So for this knotless braid, we would start with our hair first and gently introduce the hair extensions. And then as you can see, the way I'm adding it up, I'm just taking it one piece at a time, collecting from the front. That's how I usually add mine. And there are different ways you can actually add yours. You can check out my previous video on the channel to see how I add braids of hair for knotless braid, for um, cornrows. Yeah, they are all on the channel, so do check them out and let me know if you need more information on them. So we're just going to try to cover up her hair so the hair doesn't show on the extension when we are done. So this is a method of hiding the hair. Maybe I'll do a separate video for this to just show you how to hide hair in braids. Okay, so like I said, we are going for a short braid. So we're just going to make this hair up to her um, shoulders, or maybe a little past that, and we just leave the remaining ones for coiling later. So when doing things like this, when you want to make hair that you would coil, you have to make sure that the very first hair you are making is long enough to be used as a sample for the other hair. So as you are braiding the hair, the other hair, you are keeping measurements with the first one that you have made. So we just tied that and we move on to the next. You can go back to see how I just knot that at the end. I did it double time so it doesn't get loose. So we're just going to work with the remaining portion of hair at the last row before we work our way up. So just like I said, we're going to start with our hair, then add little portions before we continue with the braids. So at this part, we are already on to the 4th row, and we're just doing similar thing, but making sure that as we braid, we are hiding our braids and we are leaving little piece for the goddess part, the goddess braid part, because we want to add coils to the hair. And then the length of the hair, we are also measuring it up with the original first braid that we made at the base of the hair. Okay, so because we want everything to be at the same length when we coil the hair. So we're trying to get equal parts and equal sizes of braid for the hair, but if you can get exactly the same, you can actually leave it. So we had to change our comb midway because I needed the more smaller parts to actually get my patterns clean and neat. It is not absolutely necessary though, but this is just what I prefer to use. So after parting, I ensured I apply my hair cream at the root of her hair and along her hair before I continue braiding. And I left out little pieces of hair, not on every braid, but on alternate braids, and then I just continued on. So as you can see, this is where we are, and it's coming out really nice. So by the time we get to maybe half of the hair, then you see the beauty of the hair. Okay, so as you can see, they are all at the same level, and when we coil them, you're going to see that everything is at the same level and none of them is too long or too short. So this is where we are at the middle right now, and we just have to see if we can actually walk our way through the front without resting, but just to make sure that she's comfortable and we've had something to eat. We're just going to take a little break after this one and come back to finish up. So as you can see, it's turning out nicely. We're just going to put them in twists just so they don't tangle and cause distraction or spread everywhere that she goes. So we're just going to put it up like this and go for our meal break. Yay! Okay, and we are back. Okay, so as you can see, we are fully energized and ready to walk up our, just continue where we stopped. So for this front, we're just gonna take our time, make sure we get almost the same part, if not smaller, for this front because we want it to come out neat. We did the first row, the second row, the third row, the fourth row, and that was it for the front because she needed a specific design at the front. So we're going to start with this at the left side of the hair, and we're going to do Ghana weave at this side of the hair, creating the pattern that she wants. And then we're just going to take our time and make sure we apply everything that we need to apply to this hair. So to make this, we are adding more smaller pieces of hair to make sure that they don't come out too bulky and it is neat and beautiful. So at this stage, you should already know that we are making lemonade braids on our hair. Yes, this is the significant difference of lemonade braid because they have these beautiful side parts and it just gives it the unique feature of having the lemonade braid. So we have to try to not put too much tension at the front of the hair. So if she is complaining of it being too tight, we could consider making it a little looser for her. But I would advise during the process of making it, if she's complaining of it being too tight, we have to reduce the amount of tension we apply to the hair. Okay, so it took us a while to actually get this because we were taking breaks in between for her to rest, but we were done. And after we were done, we went on to trimming the hair one piece at a time. And as you can see, the length of the hair is actually coming, and as you can see, it's not very long, the braid. So went straight up to tying the hair to make the coils. This is the traditional method of actually making the coils because we didn't have coil rollers or sets to use, so we just used the threading method, and we applied hot waters on the little pieces of hair we wanted to leave to make that little goddess like coils. Then we apply hot waters to the main coils, and then we took them down. So we gently separated the hair while making sure that we don't scatter the coils as we go. And also, I made sure to use that cream on my hand before taking them down. So we just took them out like this, and when we are done, we stretched them out to make everything even and cut off the ends. So we're done by evening, and this is how the hair came out. Voila! Thank you very much, guys. So this is the end of the video. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And if you have any more questions, please leave it in the comment section and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you very much and enjoy.